We've known each other a long time.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Nothing gets through!
You never had this much trouble. You gonna make it through this?
Could it be?
I've seen them with my own eyes! Red Grave is completely taken over!
Let us pray for mercy. This is a trial from the heavens above.
Konnichiwa, my swordlings. It's been a week since E3 ended, and this year was super sugoi. I'm sure you swordlings are interested in my objective opinions on this year's E3. So, here we are. I'm gonna be talking about new games that were shown at or right before E3. But I also want to talk about games that was previously announced that we haven't seen much action from yet. Until E3, that is. This year was all about Japanese games, which is absolutely sugoi, but I'm gonna save the best for last, of course. Here we go, my swordlings. First game I'd like to talk about is Dead or Alive 6. And I'm gonna be honest, it looks like this game is gonna be the best DOA so far. The combat system looks amazing, and it looks like they updated the graphic engine as well. I just wish that they had more female characters to show. After all, DOA is known for their amazing female characters. So it's a shame that the trailer didn't focus on that aspect more. Please Team Ninja, don't get rid of Ayane. Dead or Alive 6 is coming out early 2019. Next up, we have Feito Exterra Rink. My swordlings, I have some great news. Feito Exterra Rinku is coming to the West. You probably already played or seen this game already, since it's already out in Japan. But it's actually really amazing that it's getting a localization for us here in the West. Make sure to buy it this winter to support the Feito series. During Sony's event, they showed off some really amazing stuff. Too bad the conference started off really boring. But what can you do? E3 is mostly a Western focused show, so they had to appeal to the bakas that want all the boring CGI movie games. It's not really Sony's fault. Which leads me to my next topic, Death Stranding. I don't care for this game at all. Just wanted to remind you all not to buy this game when it comes out, since it's made by Hideo Kojima, who is also known as the traitor of Japanese culture. But Sony did show off the remake of Resident Evil 2.
Or not. You do not hesitate.
Which looks exactly like Resident Evil 4, where you play as a young Leon. Now we're talking, Capcom. You have been really sugoi lately, but let's talk about that later. The Resident Evil 2 remake is gonna be released next year, so look forward to that one, my swordlings. But Sony is not done yet. They also teased Neo 2, and for all of you who played the first Neo, you know how amazing that game is. So we know what to expect, not much else was shown. Neo is definitely coming out in 2019. Speaking of shinobis and Japanese culture, here is a game you should absolutely ignore. A game called Ghost of Tsushima was shown, and it looks terrible. First off, the characters don't speak Japanese, and the combat looks really boring and clunky. The worst of all is it's not even made by a Japanese studio. It's made by a Western one. They obviously don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to make money off of Japanese culture. Probably because they saw the success Neo had. so they thought they could make a similar game with the limited knowledge they had of Japanese culture. And you can see why this game is a mess. Don't waste your time on this one. But if you thought that was all you were gonna see from samurais this E3, you would be wrong. A game called Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice was shown. This one looks really interesting, and it's the right way of doing a game based on Japanese culture. They obviously took inspiration from Nioh when making this one, but instead of just copying it, they added their own flavor to it. This looks to be really interesting, and I hope the Japanese studio that are working on it will do their best into making this a really sugoi game. Sekiro is coming out in 2019. Here is another game that was already released in Japan. Senran Kagero Basto Renewal. This is a remake of the first ever Senran Kagura game. The original for the Nintendo 3DS is complete garbage and a waste of your time. But we are finally getting a version of the game that is actually good. And it's for a much better system too. The PlayStation 4. Make sure to pick up this gem later this fall. But let's not forget about Sora and the gang. Square Enix showed not one, but 2 new trailers for Kingdom Hearts 3. And as always, it looks amazing. Can't wait to play this one. Square Enix is the only company in the world that can make boring cartoony Western Disney characters feel so alive and amazing. But I'm more interested to know what kind of adventure awaits Sora and the others in this amazing title. But the best news about this is that we're finally getting a release date for Kingdom Hearts 3. It's coming out early 2019, so we don't have to wait for long at all. Yosh! Speaking of Square Enix, their event was absolutely amazing. Not only did they show more Kingdom Hearts 3, but they showed us a new game. Babylon's Fall is a game in development, which is a collaboration between Square and Platinum Games, and it looks sugoi. Platinum Games also developed the amazing Nier Automata, so we can only expect greatness from this. It feels amazing to be a Square Enix fan. Isn't that right, guys? Since we're already talking about JRPGs, here are a few JRPGs they showed off during E3. Valkyria Chronicles 4 was announced quite a while ago, but Sega has treated us to a new trailer. And yes, it's definitely the Valkyria Chronicles we all know and love. One of my absolute favorite games for the PlayStation 3 was Valkyria Chronicles 1. It is something every Japan fan should play. Valkyria Chronicles 4 looks really sugoi and is set to be released this year. And since we're already talking about Sega, there is a game coming out really soon. Shining Resonance Refrain, a game in the Shining series. Remember Shining Force for the Sega Mega Drive? I'm really looking forward to this one, and it's coming out next month on July 10th. I really want to talk more about the Shining series, but that will have to wait for another video. Now this is something we've been waiting for many years. Tales of Vesperia, which everyone assumed to be a terrible game and the worst game in the series because it was released on the Xbox, is getting a definitive edition for the PlayStation 4. The Tales games are really amazing, and it's nice to see that even the bad ones can get another chance after fixing them up. For the first time, we'll be able to experience the game the way it was intended, and it's coming out this winter. But here we are, my swordlings, the main event of the video. After almost 10 years, we are finally getting a proper sequel to Devil May Cry 4. Yes, that's right. Devil May Cry 5 is coming out next year, and it looks so sugoi. We're getting the return of Nero and Dante, and it's pretty much confirmed that Virgil is in the game too. As you can see during the gameplay, Nero's moves are instantly recognizable from Devil May Cry 4. But now he has a prosthetic robot arm that can be used to fight demons. But there's also another playable character in the game that we don't know anything about. This person to the right. Who could this person be? Is it someone we know, or is it a new character? I guess we have to wait for another trailer, or maybe even until the game is released to find out. This is the best surprise at E3. For a long time, we DMC fans thought that the series was over. Bayonetta was a great spiritual successor for the PlayStation 3 and was a nice replacement for DMC, but they completely screwed up the sequels to that series by making them terrible and releasing them on awful systems. So that franchise is over. But we don't have to worry anymore. DMC 5 is coming out next year and we'll finally be able to experience the magic of DMC again. I hope that you swordlings are really looking forward to these games coming out. E3 was actually really good this year, and I hope that we'll see even more amazing Japanese games during Tokyo Game Show later. I hope you enjoyed this video, my swordlings. If you enjoy this type of content, let me know in the comments. I have an idea for a show I want to make, and this was a good example of what those videos will be like. So, let me know. Anyway, domo arigato for watching the video, and I hope you have a good night, evening, morning, or day. Arigato for watching this video, my swordlings. I hope you really enjoyed it. A huge thank you to my patrons, who has been helping out a lot. You swordlings out there are sugoi. For only $1, you can support the SephirothSword57 show. If you are interested, you can check out the link to the left. Anyway, my swordlings, sayonara!